Hello developers, welcome to Mining Devs. Today we are going to talk about Bitcoin, the hottest technology that there is. You must have heard about it from the news, from the prices going up and down, right? And from your friends, from your family, that something like this exists, or some other cryptocurrency for that matter, right? What exactly is the technology behind it? This is the question of a lot of people that are there, right? And why are the prices so much? What is so valuable in Bitcoin? So what we'll do today is we'll try to go and read about the Bitcoin white paper. We'll try to explain Bitcoin white paper as much as possible and in layman language, so that you as a newcomer can get onboarded and understand what Bitcoin actually is. Now, what is Bitcoin white paper? Bitcoin white paper is just an information document that was launched by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. That white paper contains information on the plan of action of Bitcoin. It suggests each and everything that Bitcoin is built upon. It suggests problems as well as solutions, right? So we'll go towards the introduction part, we'll go towards the network part, we'll go towards the transactions part, and as well as we'll go towards the wallets part, the keys, and all the basic stuff that we need to cover in this white paper series. So stay tuned and let's get started.
Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Let's try to understand what this white paper has to offer to us. Right now, what you can say is that this is the most important document that is placed there on the internet. This 9-page document, you can see, right? It just has so much information published in 2008, right? Just try and understand that 2008 was not such a time when such a big technology could have been imagined. So that is why today we are talking about it, right? In 2020, we all of us have actually seen what Bitcoin has done, right? The pricing of Bitcoin is a proof in itself as to what financial institutions can look like. So let's try and understand what this technology, what this document has in place for us, right? So this particular document was created by Satoshi Nakamoto. The identity of Satoshi Nakamoto is even today unknown. We do not know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. So just have a look at like how cool it is. Like there is no introduction as to if it is just a person, or if it is a group of persons. So whosoever created this Bitcoin, or whosoever created the whole system around Bitcoin of financial transactions that are secure as well as that are decentralized, we do not need a central authority to do transactions, is really amazing, right? So in this video, what we'll try to cover is a brief introduction on Bitcoin's white paper, right? And we'll try to give you a very introductory part of this white paper. Throughout the series, we'll try and explain each and every chapter that is there in this white paper. So stay tuned, and we hope that in this video you'll try and understand as much as possible you need to about Bitcoin and the technology behind it, right? So let's get started. I'll try to keep this as interactive as possible, right? So stay with me. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Now, this line is what Bitcoin is based upon, right? The whole concept of Bitcoin lies in its utility. At the end of the day, the utility of Bitcoin was to do transactions without going through a financial institution, right? In this abstract, Satoshi has very beautifully mentioned what is the purpose of Bitcoin, right? In this abstract as well as introduction that we'll cover right now, right? So in a Bitcoin, right, the concept around Bitcoin was formulated only through only through an idea that there should not be a financial institution, there should not be a third party, right? When we are doing transactions. So basically, if I'm sitting here and maybe you are sitting around, I don't know, maybe you are sitting in USA, right? So I can send that the money directly to you, right, through Bitcoin. So there is no need for the central party, right? So what Satoshi suggests is how could this be achieved, right? There digital signatures, they provide one part of the solution, right? Because they provide benefits, they provide benefits as to a trustless third party, right? So what digital signatures are, right? Digital signatures are a means of transaction. So if you have maybe if you have downloaded a wallet, maybe Electrum, right, that there is a private key, there is a public key, right? So there are two keys that are generally linked to a wallet, right? So you can have multiple public keys, but you get only one private key as per account, right? So consider this, where the digital signatures are formed using your private keys, right? And the private keys, as the name suggests, it's very, very private. It's just for you. And what you do using that private keys, you sign a transaction that includes the public key of your sender, like to the party that you are sending. So public key is something that is very public. You can share it with everybody. So if you want to receive a transaction, send a public key to somebody, right? And that somebody, what he'll do is he'll digitally sign that transaction with his private key, right? And that transaction will then belong to you. That digital signatures, they provide a proof to that message that it has been signed by that somebody and it has been assigned to you. And then you know but digital signatures are still one part of the solution, right? There is still a need of a third party to prevent double spending. So what Satoshi says is that we propose a solution to the double spending problem, right? By using a peer-to-peer network. Now this particular thing will elaborate it like everywhere, peer-to-peer network. What exactly this means? It means, as the name suggests, a network that is formed from one person to another. There's no need for an intermediary. And how Satoshi came into a peer-to-peer network. These are some of the lines that explain it, but we'll definitely talk about it in detail when we'll learn about like what is CPU power, how the longest chain serves as proof of sequence. Now these are some of the points that are needed to be discussed in detail, and we'll do that in the upcoming chapter. But a point that needs to be noted is that Satoshi has not used a word miner here, right? We all know, like a lot of you might know what mining is, right? But we say that mining is a process of adding blocks to the network, and mining gives you bitcoins. So that this is a way of earning bitcoins, right? So miners is a word that the community came up with. Satoshi was not the one who formulated that word miners. Instead, what he has used here are nodes, right? So the miners are synonym to nodes here, that was mentioned in this white paper, right? So the messages that are broadcasted on a best effort basis, like where the effort could be less, right? And nodes, the miners, they can join and rejoin the network at a pace that they want to, right? And the concept of longest chain and the concept of CPU power we'll discuss when we'll move further in the chapter, right? So that these require some technicalities before you get to know them. So in introduction, this is a lovely line when it comes to introduction. Commerce on the internet has come to rely almost exclusively on financial institutions serving as trusted third parties to process electronic payments. If you want to buy something, right, what you will do is you'll go to you will go to Amazon, right, and then you're paying on Amazon, right? And but what is happening is that Amazon is using a payment system which is a third party, right? And you're not directly paying to Amazon, but you're paying to that third party to process a transaction to the Amazon account, right? So those third party, those financial institutions serving as third parties is the basis of what we're talking about right now, right? So that we can find a solution as to those third parties are not involved in the electronic payment system, right? So there are some of the weaknesses that Satoshi has pointed in this particular system. While the system works well enough for most transactions, it still suffers from inherent weaknesses of the trust-based model. So what is the trust-based model? So when we bring a third party in the system, what is happening is that you're trusting that third party to process your transaction. So if I am bringing any bank for that matter, right, and I'm using that bank to transact, right? If I'm using to if I want to send money to you, what I'll do is I'll maybe UPI it through my bank, right? So what we are doing is we are keeping our money in a bank, right? And what we are thinking is that yes, we trust this bank and our money will be safe in that particular bank, right? So this is a trust based model where a third party comes into picture, right? So further down the line, when we study about a whole white paper, we'll understand as to what Satoshi has done to make sure that this trust based model is decentralized. Like, it's not centralized. There is no central authority or a bank to take care of that, right? As well as, completely non-reversible transactions are not really possible, right? So transactions are definitely, they are reversible in these financial institutions, and that's why there are some mediating disputes in these financial institutions that come into play, right? So sometimes your money is in your accounts, the money has been diverted, or possibly the transactions have failed and the money is stuck in between. All of those disputes, they generally come into play. So non-reversible transactions are not really possible, right? And as well as, cost of mediation then increases, transitional cost increases, and small casual transaction, the cost of that we have to bear. All of those things, they come into picture, right? And go ahead, pause this video, and maybe you can read about this, right? And you can see like what are the problems that exist with the current financial instrument that we have, right? And what it suggests is that even if you have a very secure system, a certain percentage of fraud is still unavoidable when it comes to a third party trust based model, right? These costs and payments, now this is a solution, right, that has been proposed. These costs and payment uncertainties can be avoided in person by using physical currency, but no mechanism exists to make payments over a communication channel without a trusted party, right? So what this suggests is that this could be avoided, yeah, right? If you are there, if I'm paying you in cash, right? So in that particular instance, there is no third party needed. So I'm paying you directly with the cash. All of these, they could be avoided if we use physical currency, right? And then we do not need a third trusted party. You do not need another person to send cash, right? So this is one of the solutions that already exists in this particular model, right? But then again, how scalable is that model? You cannot really meet a person sitting in USA and then pay him with cash, right? So that's practically really tough to do. And so what Satoshi proposes is that we need an electronic payment system based on cryptographic proof instead of trust, right? Allowing any two willing parties to transact directly with each other without the need of a trusted third party. So a very, very good solution, right? So what we need to do is we need to cryptographically secure an electronic payment system, right? And provide a proof instead of trust that the transaction has been executed, right? So this is how two willing parties can transact with each other without the need of trust, but on the basis of a cryptographic proof. And but this cryptographic proof, you can say, when miners, they actually mine the blocks, what they do is, they use proof of work at the same time to mine a block and put it in the blockchain, right? So there exists the cryptographic proof. Now we'll discuss it when we'll reach that section of this white paper, right? Transactions are computationally impractical to reverse without protect seller from fraud, and routine escrow mechanism could easily be implemented to protect buyers. I believe this is self-explanatory, right? And to all these problems, right, there is again a problem when it comes to cryptographic proof, right? Uh, but now what Satoshi says is that the system is secure as long as honest nodes collectively control more CPU power than any cooperative group of attacker nodes. So what this means is that as long as uh, the nodes, they collectively control more CPU power, the honest nodes. What we mean by that? Now, what we say is that there is a probability of a 51% attack. But that means is that if the nodes collectively, if one singular node maybe collectively has a power of 51% to while mining the blocks, right? So what will happen is that it will have a majority, and but it can do is then it can mine the blocks at a speed that is very irregular, right? And when we'll talk about the longest chain concept, we'll talk about the honest node concepts as well, right? So what happens is that in that process, what happens is then the attack can actually result in two possible things. That one is you can actually get more money out of it, or you can destroy the network itself, right? But at the same time, if you can get more money out of it, the incentive or attack will be to get the more minor fees, and maybe to put forth the transactions that are actually that are high in fees rather than that are low in fees. All of those things will come into play when we talk about the CPU power, honest nodes, as well as the longest chain concepts in the coming videos, right? And what we'll try to cover in the next video is transactions, and we'll try to cover the basics of transactions and how a transaction is being made on the Bitcoin network.
Thank you for watching this video. Please do comment. Please do leave your valuable comments in the comment section. And if you have any doubts, please comment, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And we'll try to clarify it. And as well as if you need some more videos on some different topics that you want to understand, please leave us a comment, and we'll try and make all those videos so that you as a newcomer can understand better. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe the channel. Thank you.